That's fine.
Cameras on the audience today.
That's good.
Yeah, perfect.
That's good. Perfect.
Perfect.
We can see all your faces. All your pleasant faces.
Yeah.
Smile.
It's looking at them.
That's fine.
We're fine with that.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's even better right there.
By far a better looking audience.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this is amazing.
All right.
There we go.
All right. I will call this October 16th, 2025 regular school board meeting of the Giles County School Board to order. If everyone would please rise for the reciting of our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. And if I could get a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda is for recognition of our teacher months that have been selected at the individual schools. Eventually, we will move next month to a teacher of the month. But this month, we wanted to provide just a little bit of recognition to the individual teachers at each school, and we've asked Ms. Paula Tibbs to do that, please.
Do you want to do it together? Okay. We're going to go by school. We have a teacher of the month and then a service personnel of the month. So we're going to read what the principals send for each of those people to be recognized and do it by school. If that's okay. Yeah. If you look in front of you, we have the STEM department print us some nice little posters to give them with their name and teacher of the month and personnel of the month as a thank you. Okay, we'll start with Macy. Their teacher of the month is Robbie Spiegel. Robbie teaches 7th grade math and she's the department chair. Robbie is being recognized for her display of respect. Each month, Macy focuses on a different part of RISE, which is respect, integrity, service, and excellence. Ms. Spiegel is an excellent example of respect.
And the service personnel that we're recognizing for Macy is Anna Cumbie. And she is, what does she do?
She's a targeted assistant for one of our students.
She's a targeted assistant for a student there at Macy. And so she is also an excellent example of following the RISE of respect, integrity, service, and excellence. So we'd also like to congratulate Anna Cumbie.
Okay, next at Giles High School, they are recognizing Jake Halsey. He is a new PE teacher and a coach at Giles High School. He has proven to be a wonderful addition to Giles High School, and Jake is currently coaching football for the Spartans.
For the service personnel of the month, Giles High School is shorthanded with custodial staff, but they'd like to recognize Andy Keffer. He is constantly working to make sure that their school looks its best and is always willing to do whatever is asked of him. So we'd like to congratulate Andy Keffer for being recognized.
Next, we have Narrows High School. They're recognizing Tanya Jewell. Our choice for Teacher of the Month is Tanya Jewell. She teaches English and is the department chairperson for the English department. She works extremely hard to make certain all of the students improve on their reading skills. She is also responsible for assisting the students that need to meet their writing SOL requirements. Sorry, messed up on that one.
Congratulations. And then Narrows High School would like to recognize Bill Pasakis. Never can say that name. He is the custodian and has served there for many years. He always takes whatever task he is given without hesitation. He's very cordial with everyone and as a fixture at Narrows High School. And so they are very proud to nominate Bill for this honor. So congratulations.
All right, next we have Narrows Elementary Middle School. They are recognizing Michelle Robertson. Michelle is a 4th grade teacher of Virginia Studies at Narrows Elementary. Not only is Michelle a phenomenal teacher who finishes who finished in the top third of the state in Virginia studies during the 24-25 school year, but she is also such a hard worker behind the scenes. Michelle spent this summer volunteering for the summer food packing and distribution. She also spent her summer and after hours working on the school year painting and helping to beautify the school. She took this upon herself, Mr. Gautier said. Michelle takes great pride in her job and her school, and it's evident in the work that she puts into Nares Elementary in the classroom, hallways, and beyond. So congratulations.
And Nares Elementary School has nominated, at probably no one's surprise, Julie Kennett.
Oh, yes.
Particularly after your meeting this morning. Julie is the cafeteria manager at Nares Elementary Middle School. Mr. Gautier stated, there is no harder worker in his building than Miss Julie. She spent her whole summer helping to run the summer food program, which was a major success. She works hours upon hours to make sure our students are well fed and taken care of, but also our staff. Always willing to go above and beyond, Julie treats students and staff to special meals and treats from time to time. Julie does so much more for the climate of the building than she realizes. Additionally, Julie was able to pull off our first hot dog dinner in nearly a decade this past year. We couldn't do it without Julie. She's amazing. And also, someone said that she gave someone blueberry cobbler, but we're not going to talk about that.
All right, next we have Eastern. They're recognizing Melissa Blankenship. Melissa has taken over additional duties in 7th grade as 2 new teachers in this grade level have joined us this year. Ms. Blankenship has accepted these duties willingly while continuing with strong classroom instruction. So congratulations to Melissa.
Eastern would like to recognize Chris Collins. Chris has accepted the duties of a 1st grade long-term sub. She has spent hours outside of school coordinating with the homeroom teacher to help our students in 1st grade have a good start to the school year. So they would like to show their appreciation by nominating her as Service Personnel of the Month.
All right, for the Tech Center, they are recognizing Craig Johnson for Teacher of the Month. Craig is always willing to go above and beyond anything he is asked to do. He has a great rapport with the students while still insisting that still instilling in them the hard work ethic and high standards. Craig has been instrumental in beginning the new aerospace technology course at the Tech Center this year. He has attended additional training, attained more certifications and licensure requirements. He is a great positive role model for the students at the Tech Center. So congratulations, Craig.
And the last person that we're recognizing here tonight for Giles Tech Center is Miss Donna Stump. She is their service personnel that they'd like to recognize. And they said that Donna is a positive face for everyone that comes into the Tech Center. She greets every student, parent, and visitor that comes through our doors with a smile and a welcome. She's extremely efficient in her position as secretary and bookkeeper. Her I's and T's are always dotted and crossed. She is a wealth of knowledge and always dependable. Donna is a joy to be around. So congratulations, Ms. Donna. And while we're up here, we just want to recognize Dr. Campbell, because today is Bosses Day, which was terrible and we forgot. And
I forgot too.
I heard about
They recovered very nicely.
We got him a cake.
We got him a cake.
And a card. So we just would really like to appreciate Dr. Campbell, and we're off to a great start. Just like to appreciate all of his hard work and so sorry that we forgot you, Dr. Campbell, but we will.
I actually didn't know you forgot me until you just now.
Next year will be better.
Awesome, thanks.
We'll see that everyone gets those
Sure. Appreciate it very much.
awards.
Next item on the agenda is for us to recognize our attendance champion of the month. And this has been a really interesting process for us. And it's been a ton of fun. So Mr. Campbell is helping us calculate attendance rates at each school each month. And we're comparing how we have done in a given month this year to a given month last year. And competition got pretty fierce for the month of September. In fact, I got an unsolicited phone call from a particular school resource officer that's trying to rectify some data and whatnot. And we were able to finally get this wrapped up. And we're recognizing this month Giles High School They had an attendance percentage in September of 96.27, which is an increase over last year from 92.82.
Wow.
So congratulations to Giles High School. And Ms. Boggs, you guys have to get your picture. Congratulations. Well done. Almost got his Irish time.
All right, smile, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
We'll get that over here hopefully this way.
You guys aren't competitive at all.
Healthy competition.
Well, I mean, you know, Laura's right there beside us.
I was wondering if we were gonna have like principals fighting it out for this one.
That's the tiebreaker.
Did everybody's go up from this time last year? Just curious.
Yes, ma'am, they did. And in fact, I'll share with you that 1/10 of a percentage point, less than 1/10, actually separated Giles High School and Nares High School. And overall, across the division, we saw our attendance percentage increase by a little over 2 percentage points compared to September of last year. So
Excellent.
we're
Excellent job.
excited about
Good job.
the work that the folks at the school level is doing on that.
Good job.
And they'll all get the banner each month.
That's right. Banner will travel from school to school each month.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, good job.
Well, I guess,
I'm sorry.
we just want to check and make sure that there's nobody signed up for public well, there's no one signed up for public comment, but does anybody have any public comment? Okay. Moving on. Dr. Campbell.
Thank you. As we've mentioned a few times and in several different places, we are taking a look at a new accountability system that is in effect this school year based on last school year's data. As we were creating the agenda for this school board meeting, we anticipated that the Virginia Department of Education would have released results from last year's data under the new system. So we plan to share with you an update on that accountability system and those results. We do not have the results yet. We anticipate we'll have them within the next week or so. But we did still feel like it was a good time for us just to provide the school board and maybe the general public with just a 3 to 5 minute reminder on what this new accountability system is going to look like. And I've asked Mr. Campbell and Ms. Mustaine and maybe Ms. Tibbs as well to provide just a quick update on this new accountability system that we'll be looking at more closely soon.
Hopefully I won't kick us off with
I need to give them one of these, right?
I was afraid of that.
Don't make me sign over that, don't kick us off today.
Polly, you're okay also just to talk us through it if you'd like. You don't have to.
Thank you.
Oops.
Thank you, ma'am. I can maybe lean a little closer.
Okay, so we have the presentation here that we actually sat down and talked with principals about, and it's a longer presentation. What we really want to get across before these numbers come out is how the calculations are going to be, I guess, distributed through all of the data and all of the numbers that they collect from Giles County. So the first thing we want you to be aware of is what the calculations are looking at. So for the elementary school model, I know that we have up until, we have pre-K through 7th grade. However, the model that VDOE has told us that we're going to use is called the elementary model. They kind of make that distinction at 8th grade. So wherever 8th grade goes is the model that you use. So we're using the elementary model for our pre-K through 7 schools. So when VDOE goes to collect information, these are the weights that they're looking at for each of these categories. Mastery is our SOL tests. So mastery is going to count the 55%. Growth is 35%, and then the readiness, the chronic absenteeism is going to be counting 10%.
Which is why we're really focusing on our attendance.
Which is one of the reasons why we're really focusing on that this year. You will notice that the EL progress, we don't have English language students in the population to count in our calculation. So anything that is less than 15 students does not count in that population or in that category. So that number was taken and redistributed into the growth. So other school divisions that do have an EL population, they would have a different number calculated for growth. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do we need to share anything else about that?
Maybe. The one thing about growth that we need to remember too is it's looking at growth for everyone. So if we have a student that scores really high on the SOL, and the State Department says, okay, you scored a 495 last year, we anticipate you scoring a 505, they count that as growth. So the growth is coming from not only, it's across the board. Mm-hmm. So if a student scores 500, but they thought you were going to make 505, they don't give you growth points for that.
Yeah. So even if they pass, if they don't meet what was expected of them, we do not get calculated numbers for growth on that student.
And is there, may I interject a question? Is there a standard percentage increase that is just assumed or expected across?
There's a magical algorithm that is proprietary in nature. There's a company called Vivos.
Yes,
in North
okay.
Carolina that nobody is allowed to
Right.
understand even if we did.
And it's no longer.
That's right, and they're doing
So
something
training
with it
to
next year.
understand VBOS.
Okay.
We loved it actually, but now they're telling us that they're going away from that and they're going to be using their own calculations and maybe even going back to growth tables
Okay.
to calculate growth.
I was
Right
just-
now it's VBOS and they do magical calculations.
Okay, awesome.
Lovely.
All right, moving on to the next, since 8th grade is at our high schools, we follow the high school, middle school model, and I think I actually have that reversed. I think they actually call it the middle school, high school, or middle high school model. So you can see that there's a lot more categories in this calculation. One thing I want you to remember is these calculations are only for the 12th grade cohort and 8th graders. And I'm going to show you a slide here in just a second that was kind of an eye-opener to me, I think to everybody when we started looking at the numbers. So mastery is going to count 40%. Growth is only calculated for middle school in this model. They don't do growth for end-of-course tests. They only do it for 6th, 7th, 8th grade, or courses that don't have, like an end-of-course test can't really be compared to another course, so you can't show growth. Between like 4th and 5th grade math, you can show growth, but between totally different courses where they're teaching totally different content, you can't show growth. So the growth is only for 8th grade. Then graduation is going to count 10%, and then the readiness, we have chronic absenteeism, the 6-year graduation rate, and then the 3E readiness. We also do not have 15 students that was in the advanced coursework because that's also only 8th graders for this category. So that would be redistributed as well. Okay, so there's a lot more calculation that goes on for the high school.
Which is why we're changing our math model.
Yeah, we're changing our math model because of that. We'll talk about that with you later. Want to add anything on that one? All right, this is the slide. I'll go back to the other one. This is what I was talking about. This is an eye-opener. This was a big eye-opener to me. So when they calculate that middle high school model, it is only the 12th grade cohort. So whoever started in 9th grade is in that cohort, and they follow them all along until they become 12th graders. So all of the numbers, the mastery is 8th graders, and then the 12th grade cohort from the testing year 2025. And of course, reading for these 12th graders was given in 24-25. And of course, biology for these 12th graders was given in 23-24. And of course, math for most of these 12th graders was given in 22-23. So the numbers that we get, the ranking that Giles High School and Nearest High School get in a few days is going to be based all the way back to 22-23.
And the long-term implication of that is things that we do to improve SOL scores if they need to be improved, and we're in a really good spot at the high schools anyway on that, but things that we do to improve SOL scores this year won't be reflected in this ranking for another 3 years, if that makes sense. It's what you're going to see here is really old data, at least as it relates to SOL test scores.
Awesome.
Want to add anything to that?
That makes great sense.
Yeah, it does.
All right, let me back up a few slides. When they do give us our numbers and we get put into a category, based on the calculations from what I just showed you, they will put us into one of these 4 categories. We'll either be in, probably not, we will not be in needs intensive support, hopefully not, off track, on track, or distinguished. And this is what will be reported to the public. Any additional information y'all want to share with that? So this is what we're waiting on from VDOE to see what category each of our schools would land in. And they don't round. No rounding. So,
Not up or down.
not up or down. If a school-
79.87.
Yeah, if a school receives 79.867, they're off track. If a school receives 89.9, they're on track. They don't go up to the next category.
What are the implications of these rankings outside of just PR for the school districts that do really well? Is there funding tied to this? What is the implication of falling into any one of those categories?
Great question that has been asked many times and has continued to go unanswered.
Excellent.
So it depends on who you ask. The goal, they will tell you, is to use these rankings to identify additional supports for each school, whether it be funding or professional development. In the past, what we've seen them do, the Department of Education do, is just provide a school improvement team that comes in and works along with us to plan.
The resources. just-
Right. So, and of course, new governor, new state board of education probably coming real soon. So probably significant changes come to this in the next 1 or 2 years as well.
I mean, it's good insight to have for us internally.
You'll need to understand that for what's coming over
Sure.
the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We've looked at it a lot over the past few weeks. So now we want to talk about some data that we already have. Do you already have that?
Yes.
You already do. So we really want to highlight successes that we've had. So if you look at the VALS data on the front, I know you don't know which one is the front, but it says VALS data. If you look at that category, make this bigger. So when you look at the VALS data, Sarah was unable to be here tonight. Her son has been very ill. If you don't know about that, he's been in the hospital. So we told her, no, you're not coming tonight. But we just want to celebrate some successes that she's had with the reading specialist and with her program. So with last year with the VALS data, if you look at the first column is telling you how many students were put into the high risk category, and they were put on a reading plan at the very beginning of the year last year. The last column is telling you how many were put on were still in that red at high risk category at the end of the year. So for instance, kindergarten, at the beginning of the year, she had 68 students that was identified in high risk in the red category. They had to have a reading plan. At the end of the year, only 16 students were identified high risk. In first grade, 46 were identified in the fall. It fell down to 22 in the spring. Second grade, 38 was identified in the fall, and then 34 was identified in the spring. Third grade's a little bit different. K1, 2, every student was tested fall, middle, and spring, all students. Third grade, they tested all of the students in the fall, and 44 of those students fell in the red, high risk. Then with mid and spring, only those 44 students were tested, not everybody again. So third grade, only those 44 students were tested. So then out of those 44 students, 23% of those were still identified as high risk. Does that make sense? That's why their numbers are a little bit different.
Is that best practice, or did we just decide to do that?
No, that's the state.
That's the state, the
Yes.
cadence of testing. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the state. And once you have a reading plan, you can't get out of the reading plan, even though you test out. Once you're in it for the year. You can add students. We have to add students, but we can't take away.
Okay.
So once you get a plan, you're in a plan.
Yes.
So I think the success that we're seeing with the reading specialist and our reading program, it has to trickle down to like SOL testing. So you've got kindergarten, first and second graders that are entering those testing years. So you're going to see hopefully a lot of improvement in those SOL tests when these students get up to those grade levels that test.
And now it goes to 8th grade.
Yeah, and yeah.
Now all of this is eighth grade now.
Yeah.
All the way up to eighth grade.
It went up to what, third? Yeah, it went to third grade last year, so now we service these
With
students in
reading
the same way with reading plans all the way up to eighth grade this year. And did you want to share?
Yes, so we got information that we were really excited about because, you know, some of our numbers, when you look at this, you're not really sure how you compare to other divisions. And so in our CIP division, compared to 75 other divisions, we got confirmation that our kindergarten scores ranked 6th out of the 75. Our first graders were also 6th. Second grade was 7th, and our third grade 17th. And you know, our third grade hasn't been in the VLA as long as these other students, so that's why we feel like we haven't seen as much growth in third grade. But you know, we're working and we have seen a lot of growth, just not compared to the other students. So we were really pleased with that.
Can you tell me those again?
Yeah, kindergarten ranked 6th.
Okay.
First grade was 6th. Second is 7th.
Okay.
And third is 17th.
Okay, thank you.
And then I just wanted to,
Is it time to share the book? Oh, yeah.
okay, so we like to brag, I'm sorry, Nicole. We like to brag on Sarah. And so this book, we feel like writing has such a connection with the VLA. And so Sarah, along with Lori Evans, developed this kindergarten writing book. And so we just wanted to share some of her work, that every kindergarten student is going to get this handwriting book. Now, Melissa, you know, this will tug at my heartstrings, like, and they get to save it, you know, like, and when they graduate, they're going to have this sweet little thing, you know, that's going to show in kindergarten. Oh, I know you would love that. So, but anyway, this was done by Giles County teachers. This is not something that we purchased. This is something that was developed here in the county. Now, you know, selfishly, Paula and I keep trying to get Sarah to publish her stuff.
I was going to say, can we not publish
and sell?
Can we not publish and sell?
Well, we're trying to, yeah, we're trying to,
I'll talk to her.
Yes, and so we're trying to get her so then we can set out in the hall while she's going over all these things that she talks about. I'm going to sit
y'all
in the
can
hall
sell her
and I'm going to
books.
sell her books.
That's
and
right.
Paula's going to hand out stuff during the presentation.
But if you look through it, there are some differences.
Amazing.
Like if you look at a normal handwriting book, like teachers are saying, there's things in this book that are different than what you can actually purchase. So she's taken those things that teachers want out of a handwriting book, and she's put it all into one place for the teachers, so they don't have to go out and find their own resources.
that's pretty cool.
And then, you know, of course, we're not stealing all of her thunder. She has things that, you know, hopefully, you know, I feel sure Dr. Campbell will bring her to one of the school board meetings, and the parent packets that she has developed that we would have to spend thousands of dollars in purchasing. Sarah and her team have already compiled the parent packets, and they are phenomenal. She's got another book in there, a little pamphlet that she's done, that trying to get her to publish it, you know, but you know, we're just so thankful for her, and I know you guys are.
We actually got an example of something from Title I that they were like encouraging you to give out to your families, and what she's developed is
Even better.
Far more advanced, and
To keep this.
I'm sure you can.
I'm sure.
Of course.
I mean, I have a lot of kids at home, you know?
Yeah.
But
That's excellent.
But yeah, we just feel like, you know, writing is something that it has not been hit hard, you know, and the kids.
That's, yeah.
And so
Most of
we
them
just
can't
thought that
read.
it was a direct connection.
Like when you can't read, kids.
No.
Like,
No, can't, right. Yeah, so, but anyway, we just wanted to share that, to show you that.
That's
And then
amazing.
Paula's going to talk to you about all the things that, you know, have been happening in the county to circumvent all the numbers that we've been getting, so I'll turn it over.
We're trying to be proactive. We've looked at our data, and you can see some of the data on the sheet that I gave you. So we're trying to be proactive and meet with some of the teacher groups that we feel are weaknesses or areas of concern. So just this past week, we met with third grade math teachers. I think we had a phenomenal day. If you saw the post on Facebook that came out of that meeting, we identified weaknesses across the county in second and third grade math, and counting money was one of them. So I talked to them, and I was like, well, you know, we can get parents involved in that. We can ask them, hey, count money with your kids, and we kind of talked about why that is. people use Venmo, people use credit cards, debit cards, and they really don't use money a lot. But that's an SOL that was a major weakness that we saw in second grade benchmarks and in third grade SOLs. So we just spent the day talking about data. We spent the day talking about, moving forward, how can we attack these weaknesses that we're seeing in second and third grade math. And I think that they had a really great day just talking with each other across the district.
And we're not implying that it had it's a gap in some of our curriculum, not the gap in our teaching
Yes.
skills.
Right.
That's a good clarification.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that those teachers they're doing a great job, but in some of our curriculum, like counting money and the writing, we're trying to make up for those gaps. And
Yes.
plus, in third grade, that's the first year they have an SOL.
Right.
And we always get new teachers. So, it's not a reflection on them, and I don't think they felt that, but they were, working together, so across the board, we can, get some of those gaps filled with our curriculum.
So we have some other meetings that are scheduled next week. We're going to be meeting with some fourth grade history teachers, and we're also going to be meeting with some middle school science teachers. So we're trying to move forward and look at our data and say, okay, what do we need to do? We need to get together as a district. We need to get teachers together at a table to talk about what the gaps are and what we need to do to move them forward. So we're really excited about all those meetings.
The 6th, 7th, and 8th grade science teachers, because the 8th grade
Counts.
The 8th grade science SOLs are based primarily on 6th and 7th grade SOLs. And we discovered that, I think, Laura, you were in that meeting when we were talking there at Nares High School, and we're like, so we've got to do something about that. And so we've got some plans to try to help those teachers. They're in different buildings. And so we need to do something, but that was really an eye opener when we were having the data chats at Nares High School last year.
And we're looking at some ways to deal with the lower grade levels or intermediate, like 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade with their multiplication tables. That's one thing that we keep hearing from middle school teachers. Basic facts. They need their basic facts. So we've looked at some things, some manipulatives and things. When we got our new textbooks with Kidam and MathSpace, teachers received a lot of manipulatives, but we've seen some more. So you're going to see some more Facebook posts about some things that we're putting in place for multiplication facts. So we think it's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
We've been singing back there, but I don't know. We've been having fun.
Yeah.
But if you look down at your sheet at the teacher quality profile, each year Jason takes care of an iPower report, and that kind of reports on everything that's happening with our teachers, what they're teaching, the courses that they're teaching. It has a lot of different information on it. So if you want to talk about the numbers that we have on here.
We rarely let Jason talk, so maybe we'll let him say something.
I've been saying, talk.
Sit back. The report that I do that these numbers are coming from, the goal is to match our students with our courses and then these courses with our teachers. So it lets the State Department know, okay, what courses are we offering here in Giles, and then what classes are students taking, and are teachers qualified to be teaching those courses. And so our iPower report is generated, and that's how we know, okay, who do we have that's maybe not certified, or if they're out of content area, if they're not licensed at all, or if we have full-time subs. So the first number, 833, now they base this on sections. So what they do is they say, okay, how many sections in the district are taught? Now, they don't look at just one class or one teacher. So if that teacher is teaching 4 sections of chemistry, those 4 sections are all put into these numbers. That's why those numbers are really, really large. This 95.2% number is kind of one that we spend a lot of time focusing on. We want that number to be above 95%. That's kind of what the State Department will kind of guide us and tell us to do. So we want to make sure we stay above that as far as our teachers are being qualified. The next number, and these numbers are from last year. This report has not been done for the 25-26 year yet. That'll be next month. Last year we had 42 sections in January that were being taught by people who were not licensed or not endorsed in that area. So maybe they had a license, but they weren't endorsed to teach math, but then we had them covering a math class. That's where those numbers come from. We'll kind of skip down here to the provisional teachers. We had about 18 provisional licenses last year. It's pretty much the same to start this year. We've got a few more we're waiting on. So we seem to stay pretty consistent with our provisional numbers. We did see a big increase a couple years ago, but we've kind of leveled off now. And all are going through our reimbursement program, which is, we're very much appreciative of that. We've had over 20 teachers so far that we've reimbursed. I think all of our reading specialists have gone through that program. Guidance counselors. So that's been very helpful to these individuals. And the last row here, number of teachers teaching in a subject or field not licensed or not properly endorsed. Again, those are our ones that are either not licensed in their content area, or maybe we're waiting on a license. Sometimes when you send something to DOE and it takes months to get back, they get flagged on this report, even though it's been sent in. We know they're going to be licensed, but for this report, they're shown as not being licensed. Or if we have to have a full-time sub in a position because we're waiting to hire someone, they do count that number as well.
So that just shows how important that tuition reimbursement program that is supported by the board is to Giles County. We need to keep that number up above 95%, and teachers are really, really taking advantage of that program, and that has been such a tremendous help. And also a recruiting tool. We interview teachers, and they're just out of college, and they want to advance their degree or whatever. So it's not only it helps our PAL report, but it also helps us recruit teachers to the county. So.
And that 95% that he's referring to, all of our federal grants, we have to have 95% or larger, or we have to go through an improvement process on our federal grant money. So that would be Title I, Title II, Title IV, Title III, if we go forward with that one. So all of those grants are tied to that IPAL report as well.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks for pretty well.
That's great information.
That was great, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited. Take yours. You don't want it.
As Ms. Mustang mentioned earlier, chronic absenteeism is a big, you guys are good, go ahead. Chronic absenteeism is a big part of our accountability system, and we're working hard to put forward some procedures to help the division address the number of, or the attendance rates that we have here in our school. And because we feel like that's kind of a triple win for us. One, it helps us with the system. Two, it helps us get our kids and families better engaged. But then three, we also feel like all those other parts of the system benefit through better attendance. So we've got just a few simple revisions that we're going to bring forward more formally at the next board meeting. But I wanted two of our rock stars here in Giles County Public School, Ms. Helvey and Ms. Johnson, to share some highlights with the board on the kind of some of the background work they have done on potential revisions for our procedure and where we're going next with it. So floor belongs to you.
Great, good evening. So, do you have the clicker?
Oh, that would probably be helpful, wouldn't it? You good? I promised you I would work the clicker and I did not. I'm sorry.
You want to do it?
I think I could just come here maybe. Okay, so we felt like it was important that we identify why are we looking at absenteeism in the county. And one of those reasons, as Lisa and Paula shared with us, 10% in elementary is based on chronic absenteeism as an overall school report card. So statistically, if you look at our numbers for the last 2 years, 23-24 and 24-25, we're sitting at averaging 20% chronic absenteeism. Now, what is chronic absenteeism? The Virginia Department of Education says that chronic absenteeism is 10% of the days missed, which is 18 days. So if students miss 18 days or more in a school term, that is, they're chronically absent. If you break it down by month, if a student misses 2 days a month from September to May, they are chronically absent at 2 days. So looking at the numbers, our goal this year is we want to drop it from 7 percentage points from the roughly 20% on the average down to 12%. Another startling number that is there is 130 students in our division missed 30 days or more last year. So That's our goals and that's our why.
Expanding on our goals, we want to reduce, obviously, as Ms. Johnson said, chronic absenteeism across all grade levels. And I think it's important to really point out that we want to promote consistent communication between schools and families. We want to strengthen those partnerships, between the home and the school, which will ultimately benefit our students. So how do we do that? We implement fair, consistent attendance interventions. We want to encourage positive attendance habits being the key word there, through support and incentives, because we have found that attendance issues in early grades generally lead to issues that we see in high school.
Okay, so why are we concerned with attendance? Regular attendance sets the foundations for everything else. We want to create lifelong learners, positive community members, and as Laura said, great habits setting forward. So regular attendance sets them up for foundations, not only for academic success, but our community as well. Notice students living in poverty are 2 or 3 times more likely to be chronically absent. So that is our most vulnerable population. We want to protect those. We want to set them up and, again, give back to the community. Attendance is often found to be a much better indicator of dropout rates. Students who miss frequently typically will show that. Also, it affects literacy. And if they have attendance issues in elementary, high school, you usually see those as well. So we want to intervene as soon as we can with that. Chronic absenteeism does impact grades, engagement, and graduation rates.
So piggybacking off of that, at the high school level, we have found that when students are in school, they feel more a part of our school community. And when they're a part of our school community, or they feel that way, they tend to, become more involved. And when they're more involved, they're out of school. So it's kind of a circular situation.
And it helps reduce that anxiety if they miss.
Right.
They're not racing to catch up, always playing catch up to see what they missed that day or for those days.
So our shared commitment here is, again, to promote the consistent attendance and academic success, to ensure compassionate support and equitable enforcement, and definitely become partners with parents to get kids to school, strengthen that family engagement, accountability, and support our students with early intervention.
So the attendance committee came up and decided that we want to involve all stakeholders. Parents are key resources. Parents are so important to our success. We know from the teacher success to what we want the students to do. So in looking at the parent survey that was presented out, it's kind of interesting. We had 65 parents participate. While we would want more, let's see what the parents' feedback they gave us, okay? 66% of the parents indicated that attendance was very important to them. The majority of the reasons why students they felt like their student was absent was due to illness, with peer relations being the least reason why. 22% said that they had fair poor attendance last year, and 2 parents reported participating in the IACT division level resources available to help them, where additional parent supports are given.
So what kind of resources do we have available? RVCS, we partner with them, and that they provide an outlet too for more intensive services if needed, or supports as needed. We have our school nurses who also are linked with our community health center, our school counselors, and then we have what's called SAT. That stands for Student Assistance Team, and that takes place at the school level, and those different members of the school community can work together to meet with parents and students and find out what are the needs that you have and how can we support you to help your child be successful in school. So continuing with the survey and that information, only 63% of parents indicated that they were very comfortable reaching out to the school to discuss attendance issues. this isn't, we want to help serve, and we have to recognize that we want more people to feel comfortable being able to approach us. This is not a gotcha moment. This is how can we help you and help your child. So families have indicated that work schedules, family emergencies, transportation, childcare were all common outside factors that definitely impacted their child's attendance. And approximately 57% of our parents indicated that they felt very informed. So it indicates that we do need to get this information out there to them. So our goal is, once approved by you guys, we are committed to informing and engaging our families with the countywide policy.
Okay, so key takeaways from the parent survey. Number one, parents are our biggest resource. What is it that they need? As Laura stated, there's several resources that we tap into to help with our parents. Each school we have attendance incentives that we are considering. Each school is being creative. They're rolling out creative, unique incentives, unique to their demographics, and for increasing attendance. Academic performance of students should be evaluated and related to the absences. Allowing student makeup days to rectify attendance issues. So we do have the opportunity outside school to rectify or recover attendance days, and that is with remediation or tutoring. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio. For every 3 days a student stays after, then that they could expunge 1 day of attendance from their record. I know that the elementary principals have met or had discussions of having Tuesday, Thursdays with remediation, after school remediation, starting the week of November 6th. So I went through and counted up from November 6th to the end of April. There are 45 Tuesday, Thursdays. So essentially, with the 3-to-1 ratio given by the Virginia Department of Education, we would have 15 days that they could expunge from their record just on Tuesday, Thursdays.
So the revised attendance policy and procedures standardizes procedures and expectations for all of our schools in Giles County. In meeting with these outside agencies that we have had the privilege to work with, we want to outline clear interventions at varying levels, prioritize parents as partners. You keep hearing us say that over and over and over again, and recognize the need for students to be absent for a variety of reasons. We do understand that there are some situations that are unavoidable.
Now, we're going to be looking at just what our absences simplified. They're either excused or unexcused, and that's excused absences do not count in the truancy and our truancy intervention system and in addressing student attendance. So we're going to be looking at what constitutes excused absence and what constitutes unexcused absences.
So looking at excused absences, parent excuse, which we'll go into more detail in minutes, medical excuses, legal, military obligations that could pertain to family members as well, civic engagements, 4-H or educational programs, tribal nation activities, and college visits for our high school students. Excused absences do not count, or typically count in the number of absences that lead to certain intervention efforts. And moving on to those parent excuses, I'll let Ms. Johnson talk about.
Okay, so the parent excuses are written notes from the parent or guardian. We are allowing 6 per school year or 3 per semester because of block scheduling. We are recommending requiring that they come into a fashionable time without delay, must be received within 5 school days. Those acceptable reasons would be illnesses, family trips, scheduling conflicts, and sometimes your kid just gets sick and you know that they're sick and you don't need to take them to the doctor, and so that you don't want to go to the doctor's appointment, that's fine. So parent excused absences provide feedback from the parent that reminds us that students may miss due to an illness that doesn't require doctor's notes, and other reasons that might not be typically excused. They could write a parent note. And we do want to honor our parents and to determine what is the best for their student in missing school.
Now, shifting to unexcused absences, any absence not considered excused is obviously labeled unexcused. And looking at this scenario, and we're talking about more, it might trigger a progressive intervention process here. A student misses 6 days that are excused through parent excuse notes due to maybe a 3-day family trip, okay, and then a mild illness, and they don't take them to the doctor in that last 3 days. So now they've used their 6 parent notes for the year. The student then misses 5 additional days due to a mild illness, which would be, maybe 3 days for the mild illness and then 2 for like an extended weekend trip, because sometimes we do have families that like to do that. This student has accumulated a total of 6 excused absences and 5 unexcused absences. So the intervention process technically would begin at the 5th intervention or unexcused absence. But if you look down in the next part, it says, which would be about 11 days of school that they would be missing.
Yeah, which is not too far off from that 18 year factor moment. So what is the first steps that we take? By law states that we have to notify parents anytime there's an absence. So the automated remind messages will go out. It's not a gotcha moment. It is a courtesy to the parents. Hey, your youngin's out today. And it's to ensure that parents are aware your kid's not in school. And, high school parents, they might be appreciative of knowing if their child's not in school. If the parents are not receiving the message, we urge and encourage, please update your information. Whatever information or phone numbers we have on file are either not working or they need to be, new phones have been changed, or so that information needs to be updated to your teacher or to the child's teacher. Attendance is calculated daily by the classroom teacher. They put it in Power School, and roughly about 9:30 every day, the call or the text message will go out to the parents informing them. So this is the first step.
Step 2 is on that third unexcused absence, a parent letter. And on that letter, which Mr. Campbell has helped create, has included what their current grades are. So parents are aware. What are their grade averages? How many absences had they had per class for high school level or daily for elementary? And then, of course, the attendance, it outlines our attendance procedure summary. So this is a gentle reminder to parents, hey, we need you to get those notes in your child, please.
Okay, so step 3, on the 5th unexcused absence, which could be up to 11 days at this point of absences, the principal or designee will contact the parents. Okay, what's going on? What supports do you need? Okay, we got to get them in school. This is what implications or consequences is going to be there. It's usually also we use the school resource officer as well in different aspects. Now, the big key takeaway here is we want to hear from the parents. We want that communication. We need that dialogue to see what supports can be in place to help and to clearly communicate, okay, what would happen if unexcused absences continue.
So now we're moving into continued unexcused absences. So step 5 and 6 happen or occur simultaneously pretty much. With the step 5, this is where we would make a referral to our juvenile and domestic relations court. That can take a while for that to take place with diversion or with actual court. But we would also at that same time, step 5 or 6, or 5, I guess that's what it says, refer to the IAC team. The IAC team is held here at the school board office. This is a multi-agency division level meeting. We have lots of support here that would include our students, parents, school resource officer, assistant superintendent, school support services. You've got the nurse there. We've got Department of Social Services that will come. Usually a representative from Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court, New River Valley Community Services, our InterVCS. And so what we do is we brainstorm after hearing from the student and the parent. Again, this is what we've been doing or you've been doing. what else can we do to help you to get your child to school?
And essentially, those are just resources. We want them, and we want hours in the seat. We want to break those habits. Okay, chronic absenteeism, regardless of what we consider at Giles County as excused or unexcused, the Virginia Department of Education, they don't look at excused or unexcused. They don't look at those 18 days, how many days were you out for surgery, who passed away, how many days were you sick. They don't look at that. It's 18, whether you've been in the hospital for 18 days or what have you. So chronic absenteeism, as defined by the Virginia Department of Education, doesn't look at excused or unexcused. If a student is chronically absent, and when we use mitigations and we try to do things that we could do to provide supports for the family, students may be in danger of being retention or losing credit for that course or what have you. But again, we've got to remember, it's very easy to accumulate if you only say, oh, it's just a day. I'll just miss a day. Those 2 days a month add up very quickly. So in elementary school, students missing more than 18 days may be retained by the principal, missing those opportunities. But again, as stated, we do have those makeup days that we can, it has to be with a certified teacher after hours, or a certified teacher up to 3 absenteeism or 3 remedial days can count as sponge 1 attendance day. So that is something that we will definitely be using.
And this is never really our goal.
Absolutely.
We're in the business of helping our kids and our families. So we want to make sure that it's understood these intervention, or this right here is after we've exhausted every intervention that we, effort that we have at our resource, our supports. But at the high school level, if a student accumulates more than 9 absences per course, they could be denied the credit for that course. The Department of Ed says they have to have so many seat hours. So, we want to give them multiple opportunities throughout the school year to make up that time, as Ms. Johnson had referred to. The 3 hours of makeup time can recoup 1 full day of being absent.
Okay, there are safeguards and appeals and waivers that the parents have in place for support for the parents. When a principal considers a waiver, their principals will be looking at students' overall academic performance. If you're missing 30 days or 20 days and you're not doing well, that would be considered. The documentation for the absences, are they just all unexcused? And then the students' efforts during participation during the after-school time. Are they putting forth effort in those makeup sessions? Again, parents can appeal, and they do have supports and safeguards in place for the parents. But from the beginning to the remind message all the way through, we want to work with the parents and support them through all this. Okay. And
Of course, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So each school has its own, it has its own autonomy for incentives based on the community and their school culture and the resources that they have. There's funding that's been provided to schools to provide incentives for students to be at school. As you can see, monthly recognition certificates are listed, celebrations, reward days, classroom competitions, additional positive reinforcements really at the discretion of the school. We want to incentivize creating good habits in all areas of life, because the skills that they have now will carry into adulthood.
Right.
And the committee members.
Got one more slide we tacked in there, I think, guys.
Additional community members, of course, involved in the process will be all parents and guardians involved, court services, social services, and NRBCS. Oh, questions?
Our goal for the timeline here is currently, of course, we're continuing to receive feedback about this. Our hope that next month we can formally present this to you, and then December we will hopefully have your approval and be able to implement in January at the start of the second semester.
Yeah. Thank you. It's great. Appreciate all your work on this.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wow. Y'all have been busy.
Yeah.
Busy.
Lots of good stuff happening.
Yes, great stuff.
I think we're done with the afternoon reports.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Great
Thank
job
you.
on those. Let's go to the consent items. That's the next item on the agenda, which are meeting minutes for August 7th, September 18th, bills, payroll, revenue expenditure reports, appropriation requests. So if I get a motion to approve the consent items.
I make that motion.
Motion, any discussion? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. All right.
We don't.
Next item on there is closed session. I guess it would be
It's been a long day.
just personnel items.
Personnel items, that's it, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel personnel matters.
I make that motion.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll walk back in.
Now it's a good time to be like, bye. Thank you. I never wear it. Like a jailbird. No.
You just click the pause button, the red button on the, sorry. Oh, sorry.
matters?
I so certify.
I so certify.
I so certify.
Did I leave in?
All right.
You know I would have been looking for them.
Next up on the agenda is superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. Just like to ask that the school board approve personnel report as presented.
Okay, a motion to approve the personnel report as presented.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you. I'd also like to ask that the school board approve the field trip request as presented.
Okay, a motion to approve the field trip reports as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Pass unanimously.
Thank you. I'll also mention that we have come to the conclusion that Election Day will be virtual for all of our students across the entire county. That's after consultation, of course, with school board principals and teachers as well. We feel like that's the best way to handle that particular situation. We have a newsletter ready to release that will convey that to the public. We were hoping to be able to wait and put some accountability report information from the DOE on it before we send it, but I don't think we can keep waiting. So we're going to go ahead and put that out tomorrow morning and let folks across the community know. Final decision on that is that day will be a virtual day for us. We feel very good about that. Things will be just fine. A few other things I'll share with you, just general comments in regards or in way of a superintendent's report. Things that we have been discussing that we're excited about. Of course, continue to participate in budget meetings across the county and appreciate you all participating in those at each school. I think our teachers and other school level folks are very appreciative of the fact that the school board comes in and sits down and listens to that feedback based on our budget. So enjoyed those and look forward to continuing them as well. Thanks again to Ms. Helvey and Ms. Johnson for their presentation on the attendance procedure. We're looking forward to moving forward with that quickly over the next couple of months. And appreciate any feedback we can receive from community members, teachers, or parents that may have an interest in sharing information with us. We'd love to hear that. Thought I would mention as well, we are getting ready to move forward with an automated substitute calling system. We're vetting two separate companies now that provide similar services. So we want to make sure that we're getting the right product there, but we feel reasonably confident that we'll be able to get that system up and running for spring semester in Giles High School. And this will be a system that will allow our teachers to enter an absence in an app on their phone, request a substitute teacher. Substitute teachers would also have an app on their phone. They'd be able to accept that job and then show up for the substitute teaching position. So we're pretty excited about that and thankful that we're in a position to be able to fund that. And looking forward to seeing that get implemented. Got a lot of stuff going on at the individual building level. I was trying to pull up on my phone here a message that Mr. Moy had shared with me about our golf team here, if I can find it real quickly. But Mr. Moy had some success there with the golf team. He shared one of our best years as a team, whole starting six on his team, averaged under 100. William Ballard made second team all-district, advanced to region, where he finished in the top three individual qualifiers, and that got him to the state tournament, where he finished tied for 11th out of 60 kids.
Wow.
Mr. Moy reports that he's currently with Camden and Addie at the country club in Abington for a practice round. They will play in a zone qualifier there on Monday to try to advance to state in girls golf. So happy to share that report with you there from the golf team. Of course, Narrows and Giles are playing volleyball tonight over at Narrows, and a lot of good football going on Friday as well. We'll share too Ag Day at the CTE Center tomorrow for our students here in Giles County, and then they have the family event as well for the general public on Friday. I think 10 to 1. I think that Saturday. I'm sorry, Saturday. 10 to 1 for the public event for Ag Day there. So tickle pink to see that get hosted there, and looking forward to seeing that. That's everything that I have to share with you from a superintendent's report. All right, Ms. Price.
Wow, what a great couple of presentations we had earlier. So thank you, Ms. Mustaine and your team for all of that information, and to Ms. Johnson and Ms. Helvey. I can personally attest as a parent with a bunch of little kids that the attendance encouragement, they're writing it on the windows, so we see the percentages every day. There's just such a good vibe going around that initiative. So I really love seeing that, and I know we'll reap the benefits of that focus down the line. Thank you to everybody who's helped the beginning of the year get off to such a good start. We're getting close to the end of the first 9 weeks. I think it feels like we're almost there. Just really excited. A lot of great things are happening. I do want to send well wishes to Miss Wood's child and also to Mr. Williams. I hope he heals and get back in here with us soon. That's all I've got.
Well, make it short. Just thank Dr. Campbell and Miss Mustang and Miss Amanda for all you do. And of course, everybody down here and all of our teachers. Anybody has anything to do with the school. And just echo what Nicole said about the presentations here. Hopefully, Miss Wood's son gets better and Jay also. So that's about it.
Thanks again for the presentations tonight. They were excellent. And, just to hear with Miss Helvey and Miss Johnson, there's so much more to just being at school. When you get to see it, you hear it, and I appreciate all that they're willing to do to support our parents, because I know it's hard, so thank them for that. And of course, I always love it when I get to hear from Miss Mustang and them, and Miss Woods. I know she does a great job, and love looking at her book, so I'm going to give it another shout out here. If everybody can see it, it's excellent, so I'm looking forward to taking it home for my preschoolers to work on. Thank you guys for everything you've done. I know it's been fast. It's hard to believe it's already 9 weeks in, so it's great. So thanks to all the teachers, cafeteria. Again, congratulations. I love the new thing we're doing with our Teacher Educators of the Month and support staff. So that's great. So congratulations to all those who won that. And I look forward to seeing that every month. And congratulations again to William Ballard. Great job. I heard the wind was blowing and made conditions pretty bad, but great job just being there. And also, I think was it Landon Lindsay at Nares? I think he got to region, right? I don't think but congratulations to him also.
And I would anticipate we'll have some of those students in for some recognition.
Right.
Things get wrapped up.
But that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Would just echo all those comments for folks. I do want to highlight one person that was already recognized, Julie Kennett, and the whole staff there. One of the things that we lost a lot of things with COVID that are still 5 years later are not coming back. But the hot dog dinners at Nares Elementary School were one of the greatest things. And of course, they make the best buns on earth. And was happy to be able to get a takeout order before the game on the 26th. But really, thanks for all that they did to get that. An amazing job doing that. And again, it's one of those things that there are a lot of things in our community that we just kind of went away with COVID, and they're slowly coming back. And I hope that this is one of those things, and others come back. So, that's really all I have.
Perfect. Thank you.
Does anybody else? I guess we need to get meeting dates. Normally we would meet on the 20th.
Do the 13th.
November 13th is the board meeting.
Can we do, if we're not doing the 20th, can we do?
It's the weekend after that. The weekend.
Yeah, if you want 6:30 one, because we're, as I told you, we're 4th seed now.
Wait, the 13th or the 20th? Because Thanksgiving is the 27th. Which one did you say?
13th. I mean, I don't care what time.
They'll be the VSBA convention. When does that end?
18th through the 20th or 21st.
Okay, so yeah, that's what we can't do. The November one we always get. We either have to do that earlier or later.
So we're going to be the 13th.
Yeah, it'll need to be I'll have to have it at 6:30. Sorry.
I think we already had it on our calendar for that day at 6:30. I don't know why or how, but we did.
Okay.
Mind readers.
All right, we'll put that.
I knew someone had a crystal ball down here. I just knew it.
So you want to do the work session the week before? Does that give us enough time after this?
I'm certainly comfortable with just the one meeting in the month of November.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Not gonna get any argument out of me.
Well, if something comes up, you can always.
something-
Always schedule if we need to.
So we'll meet the 13th and at 6:30. If there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
There you go home, go to bed.
Now I'm going to bed. I
Are
hope
you
Chad.
serious?
Oh, honey, we go to bed at 8:30. I shut my house down.
At 8:30?
At 8:30, the main floor goes
Now,
dark.
do you go to sleep or you go in there and?
No, I go to
bed?
the bed.